Hello everyone, welcome to Saving Grace Farm. Thank you guys for coming out today for our fundraiser, our tax sale and open house. Our first demo today is going to be Lauren Davis. She is doing a demo with one of our horses. Her name is Cinnamon, and she's going to be talking about the come-to cue. I'll let Lauren introduce herself a little bit more, but I'm Janet Griggs. I'm the director here, and I will talk to you guys more in the next demo, so look forward to it.
My name's Lauren. I'm owner of Lauren Beck Horsemanship, currently based out of Leatherman Lane in Concord. So I do most of my training there, but I travel locally and train. So I'm in the surrounding area, Concord, Salisbury, Davidson, Mooresville, you name it. For the most part, I'll go there. And today I'm going to work with Cinnamon on coming to the mounting block. A couple times I've ridden her. She likes to move away, so I thought she was a good example. And I'm going to use this fence line. So I'm going to start here. If you guys can't see me, I can move over there, okay? Have any of you guys had a horse where you go to get up on the mounting block and they move away from you? I'm sure there's some out there. It always happens to me. So, yeah. So what happens is you get up on the mounting block, your horse moves away, and you have to get back down and you have to say, okay, come on little pony, let's move on up. Put yourself there, and then you stand up and they move away again. Well, then I've got to get back down, move my horse, or move the mounting block, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to get back up, and then she's a little too close, and they're going to move away again. Well, she's trained me to get off the mounting block. I mean, that's pretty smart. They'll learn things really fast, and of course it's all consistency based. So if you constantly get on and off the mounting block, when they move away, they're going to learn, oh, she doesn't get on my back. Okay, so this is I don't say this often, but this is truly a cure-all for that problem. If you have a horse that moves away and you can teach them to come to the mounting block, or if you're out on a trail and you have to get off to fix something, or you drop something, pick something up, well, you've got to get back up on your horse. If you can find a log or a stump or something to get back up, I don't want to have to, move my horse around all over creation just to get on them. So I'd like to have a cue established that when I get on the mounting block, they just come straight to me. Now, the finished product of this is you stand up on the mounting block, you establish your cue, which I'm going to show, and then your horse comes right over to you, you get on him, and you ride off. So I'm going to start that process. Like I said, I'm going to be right about here, so if you guys don't mind just scooching over, just so I have some space. Thank you. So to start this, if any of you own your own horses, have ridden, leased, anything, horses learn by the release of pressure. Do most people here follow? So, all right, not many. That's all right. So the release of pressure obviously starts with pressure. So when you add pressure to a horse, if you want them to move away from you, I'm going to use the end of my whip and add pressure to her shoulder. She's a little sticky. Ideally, she moves away in that direction from pressure. What teaches a horse is once she's moved away, I'm going to ask her again, like that. Once she moves away and the pressure comes off, she realizes, okay, that's the answer, right? If I feel that and I move the direction that I got the release in, I don't feel that anymore. So that's how horses learn. So I'm going to be using something similar and a little bit different, so I'll explain. When you teach a horse to move away from pressure, typically if I tap here, and this is just going to be a tap, what would the horse normally do? They're normally going to move away from pressure, right? Well, I'm going to actually teach her to move to pressure. So there's still going to be a release involved, but she has to learn to move into that pressure. So the way I'm going to start, you establish your cue. Mine is my hand. So eventually when I do this on the mounting block, my hand is the cue, my whip is the enforcer, okay? And the whip that I use, when I'm using this, it's not, you don't have to whack these horses, right? It's just a rhythmic tapping, okay? So there's no pain or intensity involved. I can do it to my own leg, doesn't bother me. So I'm going to ask her with my cue that she doesn't know yet to come into pressure. So I'm gonna ask by holding my hand up, kissing, and then tapping. And she's going to move away, because that's what most horses do. Actually, most horses will move all the way to the rail, which is why I use the fence line to start. She actually shifted her weight towards me, so that's where I need a release. When they start to come towards me, that pressure goes away. I'm going to ask again. Always start with the cue, not the enforcer. So the cue is my hand, and then kiss and tap. And she's going to move away this time. She's going to look for a way out, and then she's going to step over, and my pressure comes off. So that, the way she's looking out, she's kind of looking for a way out. She's not too thrilled about being here. Her buddies are over that way, so she's like, I think I need to get out of here. I don't like this. I don't want to learn something new today. I was happy in my pasture. Everything was great. So when you see her pull her head one direction, that's typically what she's essentially telling me. What I want her to know is she will get a lot of release with me, a lot of rewards. So she doesn't have to leave, because this is a really good place to be if you listen to what I'm asking. I'm going to hold my hand up again, kiss. She doesn't know it yet, so I'm going to start tapping. And it's just rhythmic. She's going to move away. I'm just going to keep that pressure. Once she starts to come back towards me, release. A lot of horses learn this really fast. I've not had a horse, as long as you're consistent, let me start there. I've not had a horse that I can't teach this to in under 10 minutes. Or my clients can't teach it to, with my guidance at that time, under 10 minutes. So it's really simple. The horses will get it pretty quick, so it's just a matter of being consistent. So I'm going to hold my hand up, kiss. She thought about it. And I'm going to tap. There you go, good. And take that pressure away. So now, as she comes closer, if you ever take any lessons with me, you're always going to hear me say, I want more. But I want more in a productive way. I'm not going to force it. I want it to be the horse's choice. But I'm going to want more than that. And what she gave me was more than she's given me before. So that was a reward. So now I'm going to ask again. Give her a chance. She thought about it. Tap, tap, tap. A lot of times they're going to move away again before they move back. She's thinking about it. She's also thinking about leaving. She's going to move away. That's all right. Like, I don't really like this. There. So then she gave me more. So release. I'm not going to get after her for taking that step away. There's no reason. I want to reward the tries. I'm not looking to correct or reprimand when they move back away, because she doesn't know this. This is like a first grader or kindergartner going to school for the first time. We're not going to get mad at them for not knowing what 2 + 2 is, right? Or maybe they know it by then. But my point is, we can't get mad at them for trying their best. All right, so I'm going to ask again. And tap, tap, tap. So this is very common. They're always going to move back away because that's what they're used to. So I want more here. Remember I said that. I'm going to keep rhythmically tapping. I'm not going to increase my pressure. Thinking about trying to leave. I want a little bit more. I want her to understand the concept is to come all the way to me. Move away. That's all right. So she's coming. There. My cue, which my hand came down a little. The fence is in my way just a little bit, but my hand came down, but my kissing was still there. That's telling her, keep coming towards me. All right. Good girl. We're going to reward that, and we're going to rub away all the taps. Again, we're not hitting her, we're not whacking, we're just tapping. Good girl. All right, now she hasn't come all the way. We're going to get there, but my next step is, if I'm going to ask my horses to come into my space, I also want to know that I can move them out of my space. Because if I have a more pushy horse, typically pushy, doesn't mind walking on top of you, pulling you around. I want to make sure I can move them out of my space because I don't want to be pinned up against this fence, which I'm not going to be, but I don't want to be in that situation and have a horse that won't move, okay? So I'm going to use the end of my whip here, the blunt end, and just ask her to move away. I want to remind her that I can still ask her to move away from me, that not all pressure on this side of her body means come to me, okay? Now we're going to reset. And a lot of times they'll start to anticipate it. I didn't ask for it though. So we're going to move her back. And I'll wait and I'll pet on her. Good girl. All right, I'm going to ask again. There we go. I want more. All right, she did really well. I didn't have to tap her that whole time. A little bit more. She's a little hesitant to come all the way. Good girl. She also wants to leave still. Just keep that in mind. That's kind of, I've worked with her a couple times. That's kind of her personality. Kind of wants to get back to her buddies. Doesn't trust very quickly. She comes along really quickly, but she doesn't always want to trust very fast. So technically, I'm still a new person to her, even though I've worked with her a couple times. Good girl.
You worked with her on this before?
I've not worked with her on this. Thank you. This is ultimately pretty easy exercise. So if I were to work with her, that'd be an injustice to you guys because I can't show you what I've done. If I were to bring my finished horses here and stand up on a mounting block, they'd come right over to me. I don't even have to ask anymore. And that's the beauty of this exercise. But I wanted to be able to show you guys with a fresh slate, if you will, a horse that actually does like to move away from the mounting block, because guess what? She wants to go to her friends pretty bad. So I wanted to start with her doing that. Now my next step is to bring the mounting block to the fence line. And then I'm going to ask her from there. Now I don't always want to have my whip, right? My goal is to get out of the arena, get away from the fence line, not use my whip. So that's the goal. In order to get that, you need to use repetition. She might understand the concept today, but that doesn't mean she knows it, because the next time you get her out, she might move away from that pressure again, or you get up on the mounting block and she moves away again. So she doesn't know this yet until you use a lot of repetition, and I'll show you the steps I take to get away from using the whip. So I'm going to stand up on the mounting block now, and I'm going to ask the same thing from here. She move away, that's fine. The reason I like to use the little dressage rope here is I can still reach her from a distance. Good girl. It's not as far as I want her, or as close as I want her, I'm sorry. But she tried, so I have to reward that. She's thinking about it. She's also thinking about pulling me off the mounting block. And if I let that happen again, then she's going to try it again. Tap, tap, tap. And it's just rhythmic tapping. Release. There we go. All the way. Don't pull me, please. Just thinking about it there. That's better. That's the best she's done. And now I may have scared the crap out of her. But that's okay. With this, she starts to learn that the release is at the mounting block and the release is with me. It's not with her friends. It's not outside of this arena. When I ride my horses, I give a lot of release. My horses that I've had for years, that I've ridden, or I ride probably 5 times a week if I can, they come to me in the pasture. And I ride them. I work them. But I give them a lot of reward and a lot of love and a lot of release. Sure, thank you. So that's ultimately for me in my training, that's my goal. I just want them to enjoy and respect me, choose to respect me, but enjoy me also. All right, I'm going to ask again. And you know what? I'm actually going to ask her to move away. Now, when you do this with your horses, if you guys have a horse that doesn't like to stand still at the mounting block, use this exercise in one of your sessions, and don't ride them that time. Love on them, reward them for standing next to the mounting block and not being ridden that day. Because that's oftentimes what they don't like, is that initially is that, oh great, she's going to get on me and she's going to ride me and it's going to be hard, right? But I want to prepare my horses for life and life with me, which can be, I ask a lot, but I ask it in a respectful, kind way that they appreciate. Horses need a leader. So if you can't be that, they want to be with their friends. Now, she doesn't know me well enough that I can be her leader, but she's starting to learn. Good girl. Release. Nope. Release. But I want more, right? So this is exactly what I wanted you guys to see. Don't pull me, please. I want her to get here and stand still, not pull. I'm going to ask a little bit more. That's not part of the exercise, my friend. Okay. Good girl. Good. And one other thing, with the whip, this is information. It's not panic. I don't want my horses afraid of whips. I don't use them in a way that they should be. If I had an aggressive horse, I'm going to defend myself, mind you, but I don't want them afraid of these things. These are your tools to help you get to the bigger picture. And for me, the bigger picture is honestly not having to use these, but I use them in a lot of my training to get to that point. All right. So one more time. I want a little bit more. Just thinking about it. Nope, she's gonna move. That's common. Just keep tapping. If your horse stops moving, don't stop tapping. There. I want her just a little further up. The ideal place to be is for me to be able to easily put my foot in a stirrup and swing over. But this is just the beginning. This is her first time doing this. So we're learning body positioning, where I want her, etc. Okay, I'm gonna move her away. Now I'm speeding this process up just a tick. I would normally spend, I'm gonna move her hips. I would normally spend a lot more time, but I want to show you guys the progression that I use so you guys can use this if you need to. So again, I don't always want to be on a fence line. I don't have fence lines in, on the trail, or if I came in that grassy area, I don't have a fence line to use. So I'm going to start to move this just a little bit away. The reason you don't want to go too far at first is because what's going to happen is when she moves away from pressure, she's just going to go right around you, okay? So we want to avoid, I'm going to move her away. Just don't want her to know I can move her. We'll set her up over here just to give her a challenge. I'm going to stand up. Good girl. Good girl. Again, the head tossing, that is this mare's go-to. Not many horses do that. Getting a little frustrated because she wants one thing and I want another. I'm telling her she can't have the thing that she wants. She can have release once she gives it to me, but she can't have the thing that she wants, which is her buddy. And you can't push on me either. It can be entertaining, but she has to respect me. If I'll give this example a lot. My mare and my gelding tries to come up to my mare and scratch on her, and she pins her ears and kicks at him and chases him off. She says, "I'm not a scratching post. What do you think I am?" And however, she can go up to him and scratch on him and rub on him, and he has to take it. Technically, he doesn't have to, but she's his boss, and guess who he wants to be with the most? Her, because she's his leader. So if she tries to push on me, use me as a scratching post, me just pushing her away is me saying, "No, I'm not that to you. I'm in charge. You have to take it as it is. There's no exceptions here." Yes. Yes, thank you. So the way I'm holding the rope, a lot of us learn this when we first start with horses, not to do that, right? What happens if your horse takes off? Your hand goes with them, unfortunately. I've had that happen to my legs before. It's gotten wrapped around my legs. I thankfully didn't go very far, but I went with them for a minute and it didn't feel good. Same thing with your hands. So we don't wrap, we don't bunch. So you'll see me messing with my rope a lot because I'm just trying to make sure that I have the right length. If I go to grab her here, see how nothing's wrapped around my hand? Worst case, she runs off. She gets mad at me because she hates this exercise, and I'm free. So thank you. That was a good question. So that's the important thing. I just have it nice and long. My hand's a little small, so it's harder for me to hold it all bunched together. So this is after a little bit of a break. Just a little bit. Good girl. I'd like her up a little bit. Good. That was better. Good girl. Okay. One more time. I'm going to move this away. Now, if I had a saddle on her, I'd of course get on her and show you guys the right positioning, but that's what I'm going to try to do with this time. Now, the reason, again, you don't want to move this too far away at first is because if you get too far, you risk kind of losing your what am I looking for? Your fence line, I'll just put it that way. Your help. Right now, that's your help. I'm going to move her over. Set her up. Stand up here. Don't push on me, please. So right now, I still need this little whip. Don't climb up on it with me, please. So I don't need her on it. She's thinking the way she gets the release is to come as close as she can to me. That is true, but I don't need her on top of this with me. So I'm just trying. I'm going to move her off that because that's not what I want. She's getting in my space, so I am going to ask her to move. This mare, you guys don't know her very well probably, but she's a little pushy with this shoulder, and this one in particular. So that's why she's using that. She's trying to get the concept, right? But she's using that shoulder a little too much, a little more than I'd like. Good girl. Right there, I stop her from going too far forward and going around me. Good girl. There. Now, the more you practice this, the better their body positioning gets, and the easier it is to go ahead and get on her. So, once you get to the point where you don't need the whip, what I actually like to do then is use my fingers. Or you can use the end of your lead rope. You can also use, if you have split leather reins, you can use the end of those and use that as the tapping, right? So you don't have to carry this around all the time, because I know I don't like to. I don't want an extra thing in my hands. Move her away. Good. One more time. Good girl. That's way better. She backed up just a step. I'm going to ask her to come forward a little. That's about where I want her. Again, they don't have to be right on top of you and pushing on you, but I want them just close enough that I can get on, and this becomes their release. So whereas before, you getting on them was not a release to them, now it is. And if you have a horse, again, that does like to move away, maybe you don't ride them for a few weeks and then you get them out, and they forget. They don't really, but they forget the exercise. Just be ready, have your end of your lead rope, your little dressage whip, and remind them that, hey, this is where I want you. This is your release, and the ride's going to be a great ride. It's not, I'm not trying to upset you, but I want to enjoy this ride, and I know you do too. So, all right, any questions so far? Good?
Keeping it still once you're mounted.
Yep. So that comes, keeping them still while you mount. So then once you go to get on your horse, what if they walk off? I should have put a saddle on her, but that's okay. She's a good example of that. She's in a hurry. She's like, let's go, let's get this ride over with and bring me back here so I can go eat, right? So she's in a hurry to get this ride over with. So when you get on her back, good girl, when you get on her back, she's like, okay, come on. The way you can fix that is this helps a lot. Asking them to come to you, stand here, and not get on them every time. Just hang out, right? You know, maybe you have a Western saddle, you have your saddle horn. Don't lean on them, please, but you could lean, you know, and just hang out just like I am. Rub on her, see her eyes start to slow blink. She's relaxed. She's looking at me more now than she's looking at her friends. So I guess she could probably see them that way. But she's being very sweet, very calm. The other way is once you go to get on them, if they decide to walk off, immediately pull back on the reins, back them up to where you had them, and you say your stop cue, so whoa, whatever that is, release the reins. You could also get off them and repeat that. Repetition is key if you want them to understand this concept and pick you up anywhere, even on the back of a tailgate or on the fence out there. I want my horses to pick me up anywhere when I'm ready. So repetition's key. Same if they like to walk off. Repeat this a lot to where, like, I'm not going to ride her today, obviously. I'm just going to love on her. So this is going to help her want to stand still. This is a good place to be by the mounting block. Any more questions? Good? Yay, thank you. Good girl.